It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Oh, yeah. Another Sunday. Look how quickly that week flies on by, doesn't it? Doesn't it go by so fast? Yeah, maybe not for some people. For me, it seems to go by pretty quickly. Sunday, Easter Sunday, for those of you practicing. I went to church today. I don't normally go to church, but, sometimes your girl, she might say, hey, let's go to church. And you got to be a real piece of garbage. No, I'm playing Call of Duty. You got to be a real piece of garbage on Easter Sunday if your girl asks you to join her at church, because she goes all the time. What guy wants to try to die on that hill? No, and I mean it. It's really not even negotiable. You're going to church. And I don't mind it. It's not like one of those things where I'm like, oh, God, I got to go to church. Oh, God, I got to go to church. It's just, from when I was a kid, I find it boring. And I'm sorry about that. I feel bad for it. I feel guilty. I'm a guilty Catholic, I guess. But I just feel kind of like I'm sitting there. I want to get into it. I want to listen to what's being said. And I do. I don't go yapping. I'm not yapping through it. But, and it's not in a language I can't understand, like Latin or something. Or it's not like when I was a kid and just wanted to get out there and play with my Tonka toys. But I'm just, I hear the words, I'm listening, and I feel like I'm just biding my time till I can leave. But I do feel like I understand it, and I understand how the people, the priests and all of the staff that they have there, the little kids lighting the candles and everything. I understand how they're really, into it, understand it. But I'm just like, I'd like to. I guess I'd like to be more spiritual, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh boy. And then the worst thing, and this, I don't even know how do you go about apologizing for this. Do you go to confession for something like I'm going to tell you? And I've heard from other people that they have the same kind of thoughts in church, and I don't know what this is all about, but it's real as rain. You just get these terrible, terrible, evil thoughts. And I'm not a bad person. Don't ask anyone. They'll probably tell you different. But I'm not like a terrible person. I don't do that many terrible things. But when I'm sitting in church, I can't help, like I said before, I'm a little bored. So I can't help but look around. And if there's an attractive girl sitting, I kind of look, and guys, can I get some help here, gentlemen? Guys, we look, and you could just go, wow, that's a pretty girl, very pretty, dressed very nice. It's Easter. She's in a little yellow or pink Easter dress or something, and that would be fine. I'm sure. Everyone involved and Jesus and everyone would be fine with that. I'm admiring the handiwork of God himself. But then I start looking like at their ankles and thighs and calves. And I start thinking things, and I just feel terrible about it. But it's always been that way in church. I look around too much. I don't pay a lot of attention, and my mind starts going off on terrible things like that. I'm lusting in church. I'm lusting. For God's sake. Not for God's sake. Damn, no, not damn. Damn me. It's, I think it's just because I'm not really captivated by the whole thing. I get it. I understand it. I want to be a little more spiritual, maybe. I don't know. I just don't know. But truth be told, I've talked to a lot of people. They just have these weird, like evil, terrible, devilish thoughts when they're sitting in church. So I did it, though. I went. It was nice. It was very nice and calming when I wasn't lusting. And the people seem nice. It's I don't know if a lot of people know, but I'm down here in South Carolina. And oh, my God, this place. I was in New York last week. Had a great time hanging out with all the guys from the station up there. And Jimmy Norton was on last week. Just an amazing comic and great friend of mine. And all that's great. But walking around in New York City in 2025, nah, ain't for me. You know, here in South Carolina, after church, we went to get some brunch. People are dressed all nice. It's like tip of the hat. It's beautiful. Southern charm. A little of that Southern charm. But it was awesome. Had a great time. I was very happy. Great weather too. Just one of those things. A good Easter Sunday. The other thing today, unfortunately, and I had just talked about it right before I came on here just now, is 420. It's 420. So I talked about the whole weed thing, and I just find that kind of ridiculous. If you're 12, 13, I guess it's 420. But anyone older than that celebrates, 420 by smoking weed, it's a little childish. And then there's the other one that people want to bring up. Oofa. 420. The birthday of a notorious character in history. You may have heard of him. So all those things coming together today kind of made this big kerfuffle. But I'm sticking to Easter Sunday, the one-way ticket to the resurrection. Yeah, Scarface, always a great movie. But yeah, that was just kind of weird. Maybe we'll take a call right here, right on the spot here. Casey from Detroit. Casey, what's up? How you doing, Casey?
How are you doing?
How you doing, man?
Hey, you know what? I got to go to confession after I leave church.
Yeah.
Because when these girls go up to communion,
oh no,
yeah, I'm mentally raping them.
Oh, jeez.
No, they're coming up hot and shit. And,
well, you got to watch your language, sir. You must watch your language. This is amplitude modulation radio, and it's guided by the Federal Communications Commission. So F's and S's and things like that. We gotta make sure that doesn't happen. And you don't have to be that graphic. I understand. Some of the girls are very pretty in church. They come up and you're lusting, and lust is a sin, if I'm not wrong here. Yeah, Casey?
Yeah.
All right?
You're
right?
I'm
fan yourself.
Sorry. I'm sorry about saying that, but I look at them coming up and going back. I'm like, and then I go to confession on Monday because they're hot.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, Casey. Well, I don't think it's wrong. We're built. God made us, so how can we be wrong?
You know what? But I never got him in a pew.
Yeah. Oh, well, good for you.
Okay.
Thank you, Casey. Great Easter call we get from Casey. He's dropping S-bombs. He's talking about some real horrible things. I'm just talking about visually lusting in church, which I know is not a good thing. It's something I believe you would have to confess, but then you go to the church to confess and you're seeing more. So it's one of those cycles that you just can't get out of. Boink. Let's go to Andy. Andy in Yonkers. A little bit about us just talking about pot, the young people and their marijuana. Andy, Yonkers, what's up, my friend?
Oh, what's up there?
Sizzle chest. What's happening, man? You're on the air, sir.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, give us a talk. It's me. It's Anthony. We're talking. You want to talk about kids and the weed? Let her rip.
Yeah. Anthony, you are unbelievable. I have followed you for the last 25 years.
Would help me get through. I apologize for that. No, I appreciate that.
No, it helped us get through work. You know, we used to fight over who we're going to listen to. You always won out. The thing is, the battle cry, the rallying cry of the potheads was legalize pot and you'd be able to pay off the national debt. Do you realize how big that joint would have to be? That joint would have to be bigger than the universe to pay off the national debt.
Andy, you bring up a great point. That was always something. Man, if they could just sell weed and tax it, there'd be no debt. We'd all be driving around in Cadillacs and swimming in our pools. And what happened? They legalize it, they're selling it, and we're in more debt than ever. It's all such crap.
Yeah, it's total BS, but it sounds good on the radio. The guy sounds like he's clever. He's coming up with some great idea or something. I mean, I'd put him in charge of the Fed, a pothead. You never know. There's so many guys in charge of these big corporations now. Basically, 20, 30 years ago, were the biggest potheads on the planet.
That's true.
Now they're running corporate America. But I just wondered one thing, because you're a guy with free speech and everything.
Sure.
I wonder, people love to always say the name Pelosi and Fauci. I consider these people to be useful idiots because they're protecting the Chinese communists who sent the virus here, killed 1 million Americans. And they I mean, I know the reason why they like using their names, but the joke is on them. They lost their country. They lost America. You ain't getting it back. You're going to get 1 million illegals out of here. They emptied out their jails and sent them here under Biden. They don't say nothing about Biden. He flew them in here.
Yep, and you try to send one back, and they jump on you like you're Hitler, if I may say. It's crazy, Andy. It's goddamn crazy, man. But thanks for calling. I appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll return. Don't worry. Nick DiPaolo will be on in no time. Stick around. Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yeah. The Anthony Cumia Show. I just told you. That's who I am. That's who you're listening to. And welcome back. We were just talking about this whole El Salvadorian thing. Chris Van Hollen, the Maryland senator, went down to El Salvador, and at first, I guess they wouldn't let him see. What's his name? He's got like a real cool sounding name. When AOC says it like in the vernacular, in the way you're supposed to say it. Anyway, but he goes down there, and that's who it is. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I am Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And this guy's a violent criminal, gang member. He was here illegally. These are facts. And all of a sudden, all the Democrats, he's the greatest guy in the world to all these Democrats. They want him back. Oh, my God, they need him back in this country. We've had so many instances of illegal aliens perpetrating some pretty horrible crimes against American citizens. But just like the Dems, oh, my God, what happened? Trump sent him. Well, we got to bring him back. If Trump deported him, he must be a great guy. They are insane and want nothing but what's absolutely worse for this country. The worst thing possible for America. That's what they seem to want. And they prove it on a daily basis. So we got this senator, Chris Van Hollen, which I just hate the name. How could you not look at it and try to say it and think Van Halen? It's Van Halen all the time, every time I see his dumb name. So he goes down there, and he finally gets a meeting with the guy. They shake hands at the jail. They go out for some beverages, I guess. There's margaritas on the table. And then this whole margarita thing becomes very conspiratorial. Oh, what is this? He doesn't look like he was tortured or beat up. He's sitting with the senator without a scratch on him. They got icy cold margaritas in front of him. So what's the problem? Why are they making it sound like this guy is being tortured? on a daily basis. Well, Chris Van Hollen went on the news and talked about what is being known now as Margarita Gate, I guess. Let's listen to a little of Chris talk about his meeting with Gilmar Abrego Garcia.
Now I just want to take a moment. I hadn't planned to do this, but as I was landing on the airplane, I got a transcript of some questions President Trump was asked at the White House today about what I would call Margarita Gate. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but President Bukele, after I met with Gilmar, did this tweet showing us at a table with these two glasses. So here's what happened. When I first sat down with Gilmar, we just had glasses of water on the table. I think maybe some coffee. And as we were talking, one of the government people came over and deposited two other glasses on the table with ice, and I don't know if it was salt or sugar around the top, but they look like margaritas. And if you look at the one they put in front of Gilmar, it actually had a little less liquid than the one in front of me, to try to make it look, I assume, like he drank out of it. Let me just be very clear. Neither of us touched the drinks that were in front of us. And if you want to play a little Sherlock Holmes, I'll tell you how you can know that. So if you look at the video or the picture I sent out from the beginning of our meeting, you'll see there are no glasses on the table. So you'll see in later videos they are on the table. But they made a little mistake. For some people are very careful, right? If you sip out of one of those glasses, some of whatever it was, salt or sugar, would disappear. You would see a gap.
All right, enough
There's
from
no
him.
gap.
There's no gap. Oh, that's for sure. How about a straw? Was it the straw you use it for Coke? Teasing, of course. Yeah. What? See, he seems to be missing the point that whether they drank it or not, they're sitting there at a beautiful restaurant, wherever they were, in beautiful weather with margaritas in front of them. This doesn't sound or look like someone that's been tortured over the course of time since he was deported. He wasn't denied any rights here. He's an illegal alien. I believe, or at least I believed, that the president of the United States has some say over getting illegal aliens out of this country. Joe Biden sure as hell had say in bringing them in without any qualms. No one has tried to stop him legally. Every time they tried, it was denied. So bringing them here is fine. But then when you try to get rid of them and get them back to their country and maybe have to serve time, I don't know. He seems to be a criminal. They don't seem to like him down in El Salvador either. So I think it was completely fine. Millions of illegals came into this country, and they're blowing head gaskets over one guy. I'm disgusted, but par for the course. Stick around. Mr. Nick DiPaolo will be coming up in mere seconds, if you count them. We'll be right back with Nick DiPaolo on the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Underwear drawers are like the Wild West. You never know what you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. So upgrade your collection with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping on orders of $75 or more at MeUndies.com/Spotify. Enter promo code Spotify.
The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FIELDGOAL. That's code FIELDGOAL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That it is. Anthony Cumia Show on a fine Sunday evening. And, oh boy, let me tell you. I've known this guy for many, many years. Just a great comic. Used to come on the Opie and Anthony Show all the time. And people liked a couple of us Italians just waxing fantastic about the good old days and the crap that's going on in our country and the world right now. He has his own show, which I'm sure he'll tell you about better than I ever could. Mr. Nick DiPaolo. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Very good, Anthony. Very good. First of all, I want to give a shout-out to WABC Radio for having the gonads, the testicles, the fortitude to put Anthony Cumia on the air where he belongs.
Isn't that crazy?
Somebody over there has good taste, and like I said, huge brass ones.
Isn't that insane? Yeah, after everything that's happened, it's like, all right, I'll come back to the broadcast airwaves. I like the idea of the FCC breathing down my neck. It wasn't enough to have every podcaster and woke jack off or anything else trying to get me fired or killed. Yeah, let me get the government back on me again like it was back in the early 2000s.
You got to hand it to whoever that I've never met. Maybe I know the guy because I did do a stint with WABC Radio. I think I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I've been fired and whatever, but I would like to know the guy that pulled the trigger on the show. And I say he should, run for governor in New York, replace that sloppy bitch.
Oh, my God. Governor, mayor, anyone in New York, senators, congresspeople. Nick, you abandoned New York just like I did.
Yeah.
And we had friends and family up there. And it's, it's tough to just move because you get used to where you are. You kind of fall into a habit. It got so bad that we left. And it has to be because so many people there keep voting for the same imbeciles. And they'll get rid of one and think, well, now it's going to get better, and vote in virtually the same person. And we've seen this happen so many times with Mayor Adams, Governor Cuomo, and then you got Hochul and the collection, Chuck Schumer, the whole collection of them just seem to be dedicated to screwing that state up.
Well, I have a theory about that, and not just New York, a lot of big blue cities that are going in the toilet.
Big blue cities. They needed the money. Oh,
that would be great, Dice, talking about the farm bill on the Senate floor or something. That would be.
Why aren't you paying these farmers? They're out there picking corn or something. Give them some money. Oh.
Like the attorney generals. I know in some states the attorney generals are elected, some they're appointed. But my point is, even like New York City, I really believe those people aren't voted in. I believe, look, if they could fix the presidential election, which they did, by the way, in 2020, I really believe it's rigged in New York and other, because even New Yorkers, as liberal as they are, they're not that stupid. I mean, I hope I'm right that they would vote in the same liberal scum that every 8 years destroys this city. I really believe it has to be rigged from the inside. Either that, or it's really sad that I just give New Yorkers more credit. I don't think they're that stupid. But like Chicago, let's replace. We're going to get rid of Lori Lightfoot and replace her with somebody 40 feet to the left of her. What the F?
Every time you just see these cities like, of course, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, then smaller ones like Baltimore. What about Oakland? Oakland just elected a new mayor, Oakland, because the last mayor was corrupt, stealing money, all kinds. And Oakland's just been a disaster. People are leaving. Businesses are leaving in droves. You can't find one open fast food restaurant. They boarded these things up and left like Martians were attacking. They would not stick. And then they just elected this woman that, like you said, a mile to the left of the last guy that was in there. Nothing will get done. And New York had a chance. Anybody but a Democrat like Adams. Adams, by the way, now is just playing off of the fact that Trump and his Justice Department got him off the hook. So he's got to be a good boy. And then, but Hochul, like you could have had Lee Zeldin, and they just vote in this woman that she's terrible for the state.
She didn't even get voted in.
No.
Nobody voted for her. She got dragged into this. Where were they hiding that wildebeest? You know what I mean? Did you ever hear her before she became?
Never.
I don't know.
No
where they
one
find
hears.
These people.
No one hears of the lieutenant governor. They don't know who it is. And then Cuomo tries to say, "Hey, I'm Italian, so I'll molest people at weddings." He thought that one would work. They throw him out. He pretty much offed 1,000 elderly in old folks' homes during COVID. And
my God.
And now he wants to run for mayor of New York. But, Hochul gets in there. And then when she went through Cuomo's term, they gave us a chance in New York. You want Lee Zeldin? Here's a Republican. It's something different, maybe. Try it. Boom. They just go for the Democrat every time, and we're screwed. And it got me to leave. I picked up and left.
Yeah, well, I always dreamed of heading south, and my politics always fit down here. I mean, I was being called a redneck in 7th grade, for crying out loud, before I even knew what it was. I just
in New
know
York,
I didn't like liberals. I didn't even know what a liberal was when I was 14, but I knew one when I met one. It was like pornography. Yeah. I know it when I see it.
You knew what it was. It just didn't have a name yet. It was just, they're just watching them try to destroy the country. Well, you get someone like Trump in there. Look, he's not perfect. I think we could all agree on that one. Believe me. Exactly. But he seems to be trying to do what's best for the country, not a little group here or this person or this soundbite. And all they're doing is trying to put the brakes on him and not let him do anything. To the point where you look and, like I was saying, how do you look and go, can we get rid of the illegals that have been pouring into this country for years now? And then he tries to do it, and he's the bad guy. And the illegals are the heroes.
Right. That's right. So what does that tell you? You made a great point. Trump, America wants what Trump wants and vice versa. But it upsets the left to no end. So what does that tell you? They don't like this country. They hate it. And by Trump showing up on the scene, he has really shined the light. And it transcends politics now. It's not about left, right, liberal, conservative. It's about, sane versus insane. They are hard. It's not hyperbole to call them Marxists. They're hardcore Marxists, and no wonder why they don't agree to anything any Republican said. It used to be. I remember, like when even when Tip O'Neill was in office, and
with Reagan
and Reagan, they would even back then there was push and shove, but I've never seen anything. I mean, and Trump was right. He could literally save a baby on a subway platform, and they would say, he touched her illegally. It's creepy. It's creepy. That Van Hollen jerk off. Yeah, go ahead. Go down to El Salvador. Who cares if that guy? Who cares if he's a gang member or not? He was here illegally, and we know he beats his wife. Aren't those two things enough? Ugh.
Right. Isn't that enough? But no, he's the hero. Donald Trump's an awful person. They are really insane, too. The politicians, I have to believe they know what they're doing. They're just trying to get their team to win. The Democrats have only had one playbook for years now, and they're playing the same play over and over again. It's obviously not working, but I can't believe they are as insane as their constituents are.
Well, I always, people always talked about good and evil, and I thought that was a little hyperbolic as far as politics go. Not anymore. This is the first time I really go, oh, there really is. I mean, when you're defending doctors who have mutilated kids and getting in between parents and their kids and encouraging people who came over here illegally that rape and do all this stuff, that you're looking out for them instead of the victims. I mean, that really is. I'm going, wait a minute. Maybe there really is evil. And I don't think that's, like, I'm not exaggerating to say that. I don't. Yeah. They're really dark. They're like a death cult as far as abortion and all that other crap. I'm not like a far righty, but when I talk about these a-holes, I sound like Billy Graham or whoever. I can't even name one.
Or whoever. But of course, it's not Billy Graham. It's the great Nick DiPaolo. Nick, the great Nick DiPaolo, comedian extraordinaire, on with us. And are you playing it? I'd like to, give you a little opportunity to plug a gig.
Absolutely. This Friday night, I'm sort of I was going to say your neck of the woods. What am I saying? You're down here, right?
I'm down here now. We're all moving down here, Nick.
Well, I'll be in this Friday night coming. I'll be at Cohoes Music Hall, Cohoes, New York. That's April 25th. And then May 15 and 16 at Zany's in Rosemont, Illinois, which is a beautiful – I hate saying the name Zany because the club is really beautiful.
I know. The name is terrible.
I'm 63 years old, cashing a check that says Zany's. It's got a microphone with a top hat on it.
I was just going to ask you about that, man, because, look, I've known you for many years. All the, of all the comics that used to come into the O&A show, you're just a pisser, man. And I just, are you still enjoying your time out on the road?
Tremendously.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I'm like, if they should put me on the news. And I get on the plane. I have the ugly. I get to first of all, it's beautiful down here because the airport is 19 minutes from me.
Yes.
I get there in a straight shot. Anthony, true story. Last time I flew out of Savannah, I parked the car like in a lot that's kind of a little far away, and it's the same place. And I walk through like two parking garages, through the lobby, up the escalator, TSA, all the way to my gate. Listen to this, with nobody in front of me.
It's
Not
fantastic,
one.
right?
It's
like the 70s. It's like the 70s. They put you on a 707 with a carving station wheeled in front of your seat. It really is.
I couldn't. It's just so I don't have a reason. I have to go to Texas every month because I do this thing with Steven Crowder on Lotto with Crowder.
Yeah,
he flies me. So I mean, it's first class. It's always the same flight. I actually That's how nice it is down here. Like going to the airport, and I do hate the flying because it's just a microcosm of our society. But
really
not like
is.
when I flew out. It's not like when I flew out of New York. I would get a pit in my stomach knowing I had to go from Westchester County to LaGuardia, not knowing if a truck was going to tip over, if there was construction. I would have a knot in my stomach for 2 weeks. And then I'd get in there, and there's the baby. The minute I get on the plane, there's a baby. I swear to God, they're putting a cigarette out on a baby's foot just to kickstart him. Last time, when I talked to you on the phone the other day, you were on the plane. It sounded like they were torturing babies.
Yeah, there was a baby crying next to me, which, it's what it is. But I don't remember that back years ago. Maybe
Not
I'm just
every
looking.
Other flight.
Every other flight, yeah. And then even first class, we like to splurge a little, Nick. I'll tell you. I've earned a few bucks in my day. I decide to splurge a little. But first class is now steerage in the old days. First class, back when I was a kid, you didn't even walk through the same door. They had you walking behind first class, and you try to look through the curtain, and it was just this magical land of food and drink and laughing. It was like Mad Men. It was like the show Mad Men. They're all up there sipping scotch and feeling up waitresses.
Hand jobs.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Now they've just cut everything down. It sucks. And like you said, it's a microcosm. Could you imagine people behaving on planes years ago like they do now? They wore suits and ties and a goddamn fedora. And the women were in dresses, and the kids, God forbid, they open their yap. Now it's a catastrophe every flight.
This is the part of the show where all your fans are going to be, in the comment section going, not even our fans, just people, two cranky old guys.
Yeah. Well, good. We are two cranky old guys. What am I trying to present myself as 28 years old looking for broads?
Well,
no,
I don't know.
I'm in my 60s. I'm cranky.
Judging your girlfriends, I don't know. You might be kind of pulling off 28.
Well, I made a lot of money in my day. So.
Well, I'm not a pauper, but I got this leper in my house that makes me a BLT once a week. Oh, come on, honey. She knows I'm kidding. Come on, honey. Truth, honey. Truth. I'm kidding.
Come on.
I'm like Tony Montana in the tub. I was kidding.
I was kidding. Give her a Quaalude. She'll love me tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's so I picked my spots, Anthony. Like I couldn't, when I was a young comic, I would do like everybody else, 25, 30 weeks because, I wasn't married, you're chasing broads and then having a good time. And that was flying economy, but I hated it. It wears you down. I heard Jerry Seinfeld on Tom Papa's show saying that.
Yeah.
He started talking about travel and he's like, oh, that's retired, more comedians. And it really is true. It's the cliche they go, but it's true. They pay us comedians. They don't pay us to tell jokes on stage. They're paying us to stand in line at the airport.
Yeah.
Lost luggage, broken relationships.
Some garbage room that stinks. And yeah.
La Quinta Inn. You go in there with luminol, and it looks like an episode of ID.
It's like a Peter Max poster under a black light.
So, it's Crowder flight. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's so funny because you got like a few stories. I hear Norton and Florentine and Voss, and they'll tell these stories, but there's only a few of them out of the thousands of times they've been out. So you got to imagine, they aren't all this amazing, funny, we got some girls, took them back to the hotel stories. It's mostly just boredom and a crap club and a crap crowd.
Well, I don't want to blow my own horn, but I think if you went back and pictured me in even my late 20s, early 30s compared to Norton and Voss, I think I would have had a leg up on the broad situation.
Yeah. It always is
exactly Chippendales there, and I love both those guys to death.
Of course, all even their
Norton,
stories.
I say Norton. I go, Jimmy, you look better. I think Jimmy he's aging good because I texted him the other day. And he's like, I look like a... And I go, I said, I think you look better now than you did. And he goes, oh, you're a good friend.
You're a good friend. Yeah, he'll look at that as an insult because he thought he looked better years ago. So he thinks you're lying.
I didn't mean that either. I mean, he's heavier now, but he just, I guess he's not wearing an Ozzy Osbourne T-shirt, and he wears a jacket. And I don't know. I think he looks good.
Yeah, that's great. You know, it's going to be clipped and sent to him. He looks heavier now.
No,
that's the only thing that's going to be clipped and sent to him.
Yeah, but I'm saying it looks good on him.
Yeah.
I thought whatever. He whatever.
Hey, with his lifestyle, we all thought he'd be losing a lot of weight. So you know, what are you going to do?
I was worried about 20 years ago. I thought he did maybe catch a germ.
Catch something.
From a happy ending on 48th Street behind a dumpster.
Put on the bathrobe, some chicken broth, and a poodle next to him and call it a night. You're going to stick around? We got another break. I'd like to talk to you about a few more things going on there, Nick.
Okay, absolutely.
Cool, all right, we'll be right back with the great Mr. Nick DiPaolo after this, The Anthony Cumia Show.
It's The Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's The Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. If you're listening on the amplitude modulation airwaves, then you don't have to worry about this, but download the app. Download the app anyway. It's over there on the App Store, 77 WABC app. And then you could listen. That's how this technology works. We have Nick DiPaolo, comedian, good guy, rational thinker. Some people might argue that point, but Nick DiPaolo is with us.
So, depends how close the Bacardi is.
Nick, I love talking with people about the old New York days at the Comedy Cellar in New York, and because everyone loves bringing up that goddamn table, the table, and it's become this legendary thing. Whenever anyone brings up the old crowd of Colin Quinn and Patrice O'Neill and Greg Giraldo and all these guys, and you obviously, and they think it's still a thing that comics would still sit in a club at a table and talk like you guys did about what's going on in the world, and you guys took busting balls to a level no one could even deal with now. They'd go home and off themselves. What is this? You're out there. You're in the clubs. What does it look like these days?
Well, first of all, I have to take the table was my idea. I don't know if you know that.
I heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
And this is how it happened. I was living in L.A. and I moved from L.A. and this is how I know I had the eye of the tiger, as they say, as like a younger comedian. I flew home from L.A. like the night I got back. Right. Mm-hmm. I still have my suitcase, suitcase in my hand. Went home for a second, dumped some stuff off, went down to the Comedy Cellar later on, and I get down there, and I had a set. Can you imagine? I actually was on the schedule the night I arrived from LA, which I would never. I would never.
Never.
People who know me, I wasn't like the fucking. Excuse me, I wasn't the hard.
Ding, ding.
Ding, dang, dong.
There's one.
Anyways, so yeah, I get there, I get to the Comedy Cellar, and I'm in the Olive Tree Cafe upstairs, and it's packed, and there's nowhere to sit. And I knew Manny because I was playing the club before I moved to LA, and I go, Manny, can't you reserve a table for the comedians? I don't want to stand amongst the people that are going to come downstairs and heckle me, or
Yeah.
And Manny was such a great guy. I thought that would just bounce off him, right? I come in the next night, there's a table, with a bunch of 3 signs on it that say reserved for comedians. And in the first few weeks, Manny loved me, and for the first few weeks, customers were still trying to sit that, would have to kick them out, they would just ignore the signs and sit at the table and would have to go, because it was my idea. I thought it had to be me who said, "Scram, get up, get you and your fat girlfriend out of here." Yeah, God bless Manny for doing that. And that's how it started. And then, Patrice O'Neill, Geraldo. I'm trying to remember some guys that are alive.
Right.
Norton.
Norton, Voss,
Jimmy
Bob
Norton,
Kelly.
And Bob Kelly and Voss and Colin. And, yes, we would have at it. And the way, and some nights it got ugly, like Patrice and Geraldo got into it one night. I think Geraldo was a little tipsy, if you could say. He had a few in him. And that Colombian came out and he had a few drinks in him. Yelling. Patrice wasn't even at the table yet. Patrice was leaving and Geraldo said something. And they start yelling at each other. And this isn't a packed restaurant with
right.
And families. And Patrice is effing this and that. And Geraldo, all this racial crap.
You know what it's like too? It's just like when you watch a Scorsese mob movie and people go, wow, we're just busting balls. It's all right. We're just busting balls. Whenever anyone says that, someone's going to die. It's never just busting balls. Someone is going to take it way too far, but that's what made it so funny, man.
You're right, and some people did die, but it wasn't because of violence.
Well, no,
it was other issues.
Yeah.
But,
hey, Nick, could I cut you off real quick, and could you stick around for one more segment because we've got a pretty
Anthony,
tight show here, my friend. All right. We'll be right back, of course, with the great Nick DiPaolo. I appreciate the time, Nick, because you're awesome, man. Right after these quick words on the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Nick DiPaolo with us. Remember the old days? I remember the old days. Oh, jeez. Man, back on the... Yeah.
I was listening to AC/DC. Is that what they playing on the station?
Well, no, that's just for us to hear.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah.
I thought WABC made a real 180.
That would be a hell of a change right there. They just started playing AC/DC. You see they're on there. I guess their final tour. Is that it? Because I saw some clips, and it's like, look, some bands can just go on and on forever. AC/DC's known for just being pretty hardcore, and it just it was.
A whole lot of Rosie was my wedding song. We lost 3 sets of grandparents trying to dance to that. It's so funny that you were playing AC/DC because I have a guitar here. And I was just learning chords today, like a 15-year-old.
Are you trying that? You get to a certain point in life, and you decide to pick up a guitar.
I'm hoping to make this circuit at 63.
Yeah.
I got a great name. It's the band is Osteoporosis, and it's a new album called Bone Cancer.
We're throwing out free hurricanes to the first 100 people that show up at the door.
It's a good way to keep your mind sharp. It really, it's fun, But I get so frustrated. I'll think I'm, getting a few licks down, and then I'll go on YouTube and I'll see a 10-year-old Asian girl playing Clapton better than Clapton can play Clapton. And
I don't know.
I smash my guitar in the alley behind my house.
Dude, I don't know what's real anymore and what is just because we have cameras. Everyone can record stuff and they put it up there. 30 years ago, was some 9-year-old playing Van Halen riffs?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Either something really changed or we were unbelievably incompetent back then. Because I picked up a keyboard at one point in my life. I thought I was going to be able to tickle the ivories and play Piano Man and have girls swoon over me. Needless to say, that didn't pan out.
The Casio didn't work for you.
No, it was a little Casio keyboard, and I'm trying to sing us a song. You're the piano man. And I'm thinking, I'm in. You should have picked up the guitar at 13 because by 15, you are king. I saw my brother do it. It pissed me off to no end. He would show up at a party. I'm sitting there trying to, do my jokes, my little jokes. And Joe starts playing songs and girls would, believe me, we all know this, Nick. Musician beats comedian anytime at a party. Anytime.
One of my best bits was about that. Remember the show Behind the Music? And I'm not going to remember the date. You guys are going to have to Google it. But they had that show Behind the Music on like MTV.
Yep.
So you never saw that. You never saw Behind the Laughs, did you? Behind the comedy.
No.
Right? Me bringing back some girl with a club foot. She was like the coat. She worked in the coat room at the Funny Bone.
Right.
In Grand Rapids. She had a hair lip. They're talking about. I remember on that VH1. I don't know if it was the Stones. Somebody said, "I woke up and there was a needle hanging out of my arm." it was like 56 or something. So I put that on my act. A comedian would say that. I woke up, there was a needle hanging on me. Apparently, I rolled over on the sewing kit at the La Quinta Inn. I had about 8 analogies. If I don't know where that bit is. If somebody can find that, your fans can look it up. It was one of my favorite bits, and it would still work today because you're right. The AI stuff, here's what kills me, Anthony. Like you said, you don't know what's real or not. The animal stuff, I'm in a bar looking up watching Jive TV or Clyde, whatever it is. And it's the animal stuff that makes me crazy. There's a clip of a deer running in front of a car. The guy stops the car, right? The guy gets out. The deer leads him into the woods to another deer that was wounded. And I go, that never happened. I look at a stranger next to me. I go, that never happened. So I try to write a bit on that, too. I go, some of them are believable. Somebody picks up a bird that was hurt, whatever. I go, but, yesterday I saw one. It was a great white shark helping an old lady across the street. I go, that's it.
that's got to be AI, right? Right? It looks real, though. I don't know. It's You know what? You know what it is also with like going to those parties years ago, and like I said, my brother would be there, or a musician. Anyone can accidentally be funny. Like you could have a guy at a party, and he might say something, and it's funny, and people look at him and go, "Oh, that's funny." You don't accidentally pick up a guitar and play a Led Zeppelin riff,
right?
You just you have to be good. You have to have that talent. And girls will gravitate toward that so much faster. I don't care what they say. What's the most important thing? A sense of humor, I think, is mostly. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was funny while I had zits on my face, and and I'd finish up a little premature. Yeah. But
what do you find important? Well, a big dong, and he's got to be able to play the Les Paul. He's got to do, 3 songs off the Black Sabbath's first album, and he might get the first. But you're right. It's the comedy thing. That's the part. What's tough about stand-up, though, because of what you just said, almost everybody has made their friends laugh at a party.
Right.
But Anthony, what that does is make them think that they're comedians.
Yeah.
Between making your friends laugh at a party and going on stage and converting that to strangers, is a whole different ballgame. So everybody has made somebody laugh, which makes everybody an expert on comedy. You're like, he's and you can be very unfunny and get away with it. I mean, a lot of people don't know the difference between a Bill Hicks and I always say Carrot Top, but I like him. I don't want to pick on Carrot Top.
No, he's actually done very well for himself, and he's always gotten good reviews, that son of a bitch.
Tell me about Anthony. You know how depressing it is? I play Vegas, and I'm walking down the hall to my room, and all the do not disturb signs have Carrot Top's ad to him at the MGM Grand.
Yeah, his face.
And I'm playing Tom's Lounge. At the Zebra Hut.
Yeah, people can fake it at a party. One line, your friends are funny, And then I guess it had to be back in the early 80s when that comedy boom happened where everyone thought they were a comic. I think that was part of it. A lot of those open micers started out with, hey, I cracked my family up at around Easter. Everyone's laughing. And they bought it. And there were all these comedy shows that were out. Evening at the Improv and the
Caroline's Comedy Hour.
Yeah, Caroline's Comedy Hour. And they were, for the most part, terrible. You'd get one guy on there that might make you laugh, and then it hit that wall. Finally, thank God. It hit a wall where people are like, we're waiting for the cream to float to the top. And it happened. That's what I've been saying this. That's how I feel about podcasts right now. There are too many podcasters and podcasts because everyone could go to Best Buy and get a podcast play kit and set it up, and now they're a podcaster. But they don't know what the hell to do once they turn the mic on. I think we're in that same thing with podcasting that we were comedy in the 80s.
Well, and comedy's getting saturated again now, too. But,
God.
I'm glad you brought up podcasts. This is how bad I am at marketing myself.
Yeah, come on, Nick.
Even I have a podcast Monday
Nick DiPaolo, everybody. Where can we hear you, Nick?
Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern on Rumble. And if you guys don't know who Rumble is putting YouTube out of business.
Rumble's the naughty version. The naughty version of YouTube.
I can go wild on Rumble, and
I know
it's God bless the guy that runs it, Chris Pavlovsky, whatever his name is, but he's he's like the only thing that stands between us and total censorship.
It's so rough these days, man. Like I do my show, my internet show, and it's just, there's nothing I can't say because it's subscription based, it's private, but everything else, I put stuff up on YouTube. I got to be real careful. And now, this is FCC, Nick DiPaolo. The FCC's watching and listening right now to make sure Anthony Cumia doesn't screw up again.
Well, if you're listening, leave him alone.
Thank you.
Leave the guy alone. He's making an honest living. The guy used to put up duct work, okay?
I put in air conditioning and heating ducts. For the love of God, I was able to talk and get a few people to listen. Can you just leave me alone? That's all I'm asking. Leave me alone.
The guy's going to have stage 4 lung cancer in about 3 minutes. Let him have his fun.
Breathing in asbestos.
You
didn't call me, Tony. You didn't
too.
call me. You did construction. Yeah.
We
all
did all that stuff. My uncle would have me up in an attic. This is 1976.
Oh, God.
Yeah, get in there and clean out that, what is it? I don't know. He's like, it's some type of chemical dump.
Yeah, make believe it's cotton candy. Eat it. Go ahead. Have fun, kid.
Yeah, put on a Red Sox hat. Don't let it get in your hair.
Knock yourself out. Put a paper towel in front of your face. Knock yourself out, kid.
Hold this rag over your mouth.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
30 years later, you're coughing up blood. Nick, you are a gem. I love having you on. I want to do this more, of course. And we live way too close together to not show up live on each other's show.
Funny. I always think about that. And it bothers me a little bit. Then I go, no, he's just like me. You know what? How far are you from me? 2?
Probably.
2 hours?
I'll wave. Look out your window. Here I am. I'm waving.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
you got the Make America Great Again hat.
I'm not that far, dude.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Probably 2 hours. 2 hours.
No, 2 hours top. But I go. He's just like me. It's not. He don't want to get.
No.
It's like as much as I want to see Anthony. I don't know. We're
get in a car, drive. What are you, crazy? I got to go outside. I got to open my door. I got to dress.
Dude, I shower once every 11 days now. I swear to God.
I think I got you beat.
You know how girls are doing this thing called fabbing? I don't know if you've read this.
I don't know. Look at you keeping tabs on all the teen magazines.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. I have a middle school up the street. No.
What is fabbing?
They touch themselves down there, the girls, and then they put it behind their ears.
Are you kidding me? Like perfume?
Yes. So apparently I tried it, and ass sweat doesn't work as good.
No.
I put some ass sweat on my wrist.
Not quite Fabergé.
He was dying. He goes, the funniest part is he said, you put it on your wrist. And how girls put perfume on their wrist.
Like maybe in the 40s they did, which is even funnier. But Nick, I love you, bro. Well, let's,
anytime, dude. I know how it is when you first get back. You get a no-show and you scrambling or whatever. But tell the people this Friday night to come see me at the Cohoes Music Hall, and then May 15th and 16th at Zany's in Rosemont, Illinois. And listen to my podcast. It's only 40 minutes. It's rough and tumble. I say what I want, and that's on Rumble at the Nick DiPaolo Show, 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. So,
DiPaolo.
Yeah, baby.
I love it, Nick. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
For bringing Anthony back.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for noticing that. Some people, they still keep their mouths shut. They never talk to me again. These bastards. Nick, thanks so much, man. I'll see you soon. Hopefully, I'll drive the 15 minutes to your house. All right.
Let's meet at a Waffle House halfway in between.
Yeah, let's do that. The great Nick DiPaolo. We'll be right back after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
My God. So much fun. Nick DiPaolo, just a great guy. Funny as hell. You go to one of his shows, he doesn't give a crap, I guess I can say. He's up on stage. He definitely cares about what he's doing. He's very funny, but a heckler, to be a heckler in front of Nick, ooh, boy, that's brutal, man. He will destroy you. And it's just really funny and, pertinent to the times. Great guy, Nick DiPaolo. I wanted to talk. I actually wanted to talk about this with Nick, but he had to go. Fake news, everyone. There's some fake news going on. Can we get some fake news? Because it's
now.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
It's the fake news.
Fake stories.
News moment.
I don't know if I've ever had a fake news segment that wasn't MSNBC. It's even worse than CNN these days. They're so blatant in their fake newsness that they always seem to come up. This one, the latest one, is MSNBC's Simone D. Sanders Townsend. Yes, that's the name. How pretentious is having Simone D. I don't know what the D stands for. And why didn't you do like Simone D.S. Townsend instead of Simone D. Sanders? Or do the whole thing. Simone Dillon Sanders Townsend. But very pretentious, that name. And this is from MSNBC. And because of the deportations of the illegals, people just are assuming that anyone that Trump doesn't like, even if they are an American citizen, could possibly get deported. Let's listen to Simone D. Sanders Townsend.
I've been talking about the Nelson of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. She penned an op-ed in The Nation this week, and her op-ed talked about that we think that democracies are... the way they die is dramatically through these wars and blood is shed, and it's cinematic in a sense. But really, the realistic way in which democracies die is that it's dismantled brick by brick, piece by piece. And she says,
that was
what
in
we
Star
are seeing
Wars.
now with the lawlessness from this administration are really the canaries in the coal mine gasping for air. I'm paraphrasing here. But to me, That is why Kilmar Abrego Garcia's specific case, the case of the gentleman who's a makeup artist out of California who was also sent to that prison. That is why the 75% of the folks who have been sent, the men who have been sent there that don't have criminal records, that is why this is so important. Because if they could do it to them, if they could snatch students off the street without any pushback or recourse, they will do it to any of us. And to be very clear, it's going to be the people of color and vulnerable communities that are next in line.
I think that's right. That's certainly part of why the
her. Thank you. So, because they deport illegal aliens, which has been happening forever in this country, for some reason, we are going to be deporting everyone? People of color. I like how she says that. People of color. Has this happened? Did Trump say in any way, shape, or form that might be something that may happen in the future? Of course not. It's more fake news, and lies and propaganda. I don't know anyone that watches MSNBC. I think more people just heard MSNBC right now on my show than they did on MSNBC, quite frankly. But that's what's going on. They just pour this nonsense and garbage onto the American people. It's no better than the old Soviet Union was. Look up Pravda or TASS news agency. Those were the old Soviet Union newspapers, and it's no different than MSNBC and CNN is now. We'll be right back after a couple of seconds. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Shocking. We were shocking. Look out. Anthony Cumia Show. Let's take a call or two. We've talked about a few things that I think the people want to either rebut, agree with, or just babble about. How about Jim? Jim apparently is from upstate New York. What's up, Jim?
Hey, Anthony. Hey, you're my new favorite show, man. I'm not You're really good.
I appreciate that.
I was a Stern guy back in the day, and can't stand him now.
It's so different, man, from the old days. I was what they called in the business a P1 listener. I wouldn't miss 1 second of Stern, and it's like a different person now, but, you know, he's what, 70-something?
He's to fit in with the elite Hollywood crowd.
Yeah, the Hollywood guys. Jimmy Kimmel, Robin. I was hanging out with Jimmy Kimmel. Robin. Yeah.
It's tough following Nick DiPaolo. He's good. I actually did a little stand-up comedy about 20 years ago.
Oh, did you?
Well, you know, I started with some bringer shows down in the city. Yeah. And then it costs you so much money to go down there just for like 15 minutes, and you got to convince people to go down there and watch you. You know,
do you have a yellowing headshot hanging in some club somewhere?
Well, I actually booked for a paid show on New Year's Eve, opening for D.L. Hughley on New Year's Eve at New York Comedy Club.
Was that before or after 9/11 New Year's Eve?
That was after 9/11. I was thinking about that. Like, is this the night they're going to blow up the Lincoln Tunnel?
You never know.
I never made it. I broke down with my tractor trailer. I needed the money. I had to work that day and never made it. I was calling the booker, and he never answered my phone calls again.
You're like a rom-com character. I drove a truck, but I was doing stand-up comedy. I met a great
I've
girl.
Done a million things, man. I used to own restaurants. I had a pizza place in Newark. I bought a farm upstate. What's that?
Look at you. What are you doing now? You sound motivated.
Trucking. I have a small farm upstate New York. I buy and sell equipment. I have a small diner I bought up here that's closed.
Look at you. You'd never stopped. You're a motivated guy. I like hearing that.
You know what it is, man? I lost everything back in the 90s. You know, I had a business that went under, and I spent every dime I had. You know what I mean? And living the life. You know what I mean? And then it all went away. You know, and the only thing.
But you're a kind of guy that seems like you pulled yourself up by those proverbial bootstraps and got your ass in gear.
I learned the value of money, and I buy things cash. You know, and I private financing. I buy things cash. I'm always flip. I'm up at my shop right now. I go 7 days a week. Well, like I said, you literally are my favorite show now. You're
I
funny,
love it, man. I appreciate
you're smart, you're edgy. You go to the edge and you pull back.
Thank you.
Would you ever take like a weekly gig if they offered to you during the week or no?
Yeah, it's been it's been discussed. I'll just say that. But what am I doing? I'm hanging out down here in South Carolina. I fly radio controlled planes. I play with my cat and my soon to have dog. Other than that, yeah, give me a show. I'll do it whenever they want me to do a show. I'll do a show. I love it.
I listen to your podcast. I'll listen to your show and then I'll re-listen to it during the week on your podcast while I'm driving.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, and I said I'm not a suck up, man. But
no, that's great. No, you seem like
I never knew you back in the day. I knew your show, Opie and Anthony. Except I was a Stern guy, and I just happened by chance listen to your first show when it came on a few weeks ago, and I was like, "This is great." I actually turned a few people onto it. I really appreciate that. The genuine compliment.
Very cool.
You talk about the illegal aliens and trucking, dude. They're destroying trucking. See, there's an unknown program that Biden and state installed called the non-domiciled CDL program. He fast-tracked refugees, and there's probably over 1 million refugees untracked, right? Fast-tracked that are driving tractor trailers now, like Somalians, Pakistanis.
Oh, my God. Now, if I'm not wrong here, Jim, and let me tell you, because I've kept tabs on this through the news, they are some of the worst drivers ever. They're involved in so many just regular, not even commercial, regular crashes. They're not insured. They don't have a license. This is terrible. I haven't heard about this yet.
I've had to back him in, dude. I had a Somalian guy from this one company. He's like 20 minutes. He's trying to back it in like a snake. I say, hey, man, stop turning the wheel. He goes, turn the wheel which way? This way, this way. I literally stood on the step and backed his truck in.
I'm the truck driver now.
Yeah, listen, you know what it is, man? It's killing trucking because they'll work for anything. Trucking goes up and down in cycles. The rates go up. The rates came down, and they're never going back up because these guys ain't going nowhere. If you're living in a hut in Somalia and making $400 a year, now you're in an air-conditioned tractor trailer. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's the life.
Right. You go into the bathroom. I'm home every day, but you go into a bathroom at a truck stop. They're in there washing their feet in the hand wash thing. It literally looks like a third world. See, people don't know about this. They're unvetted, fast-track refugees that are driving tractor trailer now.
I haven't heard this, Jim.
They've dumbed the job down so much. Automatic transmissions, GPS in any language. They just point them and go. And it's a real problem in trucking.
Not like the old days where you'd hear, bah, bah,
dude, I'd be in Manhattan at 2 o'clock in the morning with a Cisco truck loaded to the roof for 15 stops going into the basement. I come in through the Lincoln Tunnel. I go down to First Street. I make a left. I see all the transvestites, the drag queens all dressed up. I said, it's my girls. Norton was probably there flirting
with Jimmy. Yeah, you probably saw Jimmy there. Jim, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate what you do, man. You're a motivated guy. We need more guys like you, man. Thank you. Man, that's something. Yeah, every single aspect of this country has been screwed over by what this Biden-Harris administration did over the past 4 years. And, Obama, too. The first term of Trump was a speed bump. That was just a speed bump to try to slow down what was going on. But having the speed bump between Obama and Biden, or whoever, was the president, we don't even really know, it screwed everything up. They put so many illegals into this country. And even now with Trump in office, we can't even throw them out. They're losing their minds. And it has been so detrimental to this country. And they'll try to tell you immigrants are they're gold. Oh, diversity is our greatest strength. We need more people. That is such garbage. If you are qualified and you can help and make this country a better place, come on in. You are cordially invited to be a citizen of the United States. But you got to assimilate. You got to realize what makes us America and what type of morals and values we have, things we hold dear as a country. You can't be against that and just want a free ride. Then get out. No one's saying that everyone that comes into this country is bad. But the vast majority recently, over the past few years, over Obama and Biden administration, yeah, they're terrible. They've been terrible. This is a bad time for this country. And he's right. He's right. I've watched videos, dash cams of these trucks because the companies put cameras in them. They want to see how these guys from Somalia or Central America are doing. And you watch these videos and they're hazards, just complete hazards. They don't know what they're doing. They're giving them this giant weapon to wield on the highways. And it's terrible. Terrible. Let's see what we got here. Paul from AOC country, Queens, New York. You like AOC, Paul?
No way.
She's your girl, though, man. She's your girl.
No, but AOC's up on the northern side of the border up here. I got Joanna Mariola. I got Vicky Palladino. I got a whole bunch of people that
got
know
some
what's
of
going on.
some of the Goombas. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What do you got, man?
Well, the thing I was going to say was these judges that are telling Trump to bring back the sky, didn't they have actual laws that said they had to be pulled out originally? So if these judges are doing the bidding of Biden and Obama's crew, they're actually doing executive order. They're telling him to do what executive orders are being done by Biden.
Well, then Trump should be able to just cancel those EOs. Trump should be able to cancel those EOs then. Yeah.
And get these judges out of the thing, show that they're wrong in the spotlight, because the actual law in the book says if you're not supposed to be here, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
But these judges are saying bring him back. What does the law actually say? Does the law say you're done, get out? Then these judges are acting like propagandists. They're supporting the communist revolution against this country.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, or I think you're on something, Paul. But you're onto something. I do appreciate your call. I'm going to hang up, but I'll continue talking about what you just brought up, because the fact of the matter is, they keep saying that this guy hasn't gotten due process. All these illegals that are being booted back to the countries that they're supposed to be booted back to, they haven't gotten due process, which is part of course, our constitutional rights here in this country. And, you're an illegal alien. And I also understand, I'm not completely stupid, that if you commit a crime here and you're here illegally, you are due your due process. So you'll go through an indictment and trial and conviction and sentencing. But if you're illegal, you don't have to be tried. There's no trial for being an illegal alien. There's no due process there. You don't have to go to court and someone has to prove you're an illegal alien. The burden's on you. If the cops came here to my house and said, Anthony, you're an illegal alien, we are going to deport you, I could show them so much documentation that I am a citizen of the United States of America that of course I wouldn't be deported. But they're not able to fulfill that burden. We don't have to go to court and do an investigation to determine if this guy is a citizen. He's not. He's illegal. We know that. So goodbye. You're gone. That is due process in this country. That is the process that you go through when you're here illegally. Get out. Bye-bye. If you've committed other crimes, then certainly you're due process. You want to go to prison for murder or sexual assault or robbery? We'll fulfill your due process. Or do you want to get the hell out of here and go back to your home country? So this guy is an illegal alien. And he was sent back to his home in El Salvador, where he belongs. And one of the greatest things is this, the president down there in El Salvador. Even he knows, even he says that he's taking care of his criminals. He'll deal with it. Send him down. He will deal with it because he likes good people. He likes good law-abiding citizens. Do we got the El Salvador president? Yeah, he kind of agrees with Trump. And let's hear this guy. His name sounds like Bukkake, but it isn't. Go ahead.
What about the human right of a woman not to be raped? I mean, what about the human right of kids to play or to be free or to go to the park? And what about the human right to live or the human right to walk in the street, right? But no, they were worried about the human rights of the killers.
Yeah, worried about the human rights of the killers. Even the guy in El Salvador knows that the liberal idiots up here are out of their minds. He's like, yeah, what? Yeah, you sent back a criminal? All right, yeah, we'll take him. We put him in prison. Thank you. And then we must really look stupid to the rest of the world, even though the rest of the world's kind of looking pretty stupid these days. But we must look really stupid where the other countries have to be looking and going, so let me get this straight. There's a portion of the country that wants the criminals returned to their country. So they're there illegally. They're committing crimes. Apparently this guy was convicted of domestic violence against his wife. And the rest of the world has to go like, why do they want him back? Well, they don't. The Democrats don't. Anything Trump does, they need to go against it. No matter how stupid they sound going against it, because their constituents are mentally ill. The nose ring. God, what a dead giveaway that's been over the course of a few years now. Whenever you're scrolling on social media, and I'll see, before I even hear the sound, I'll see some stringy-haired disaster of a woman with a nose ring. And I don't even have to look at what's written. I just go, oh, boy, I'm going to click this, and I know exactly what I'm getting. And then Trump, he's a fascist racist. I'm like, yep, the nose ring. That told me everything I need to know. It's insane. But that's where we're living right now. I just hope, for God's sake, please, after Trump is done, and he's been just turning the screws on the Democrats and liberals about his third term. He's not serving a third term. I swear to you. He will not serve a third term. He won't try. This is a great tactic on the part of someone that's really good at screwing with the opposition. Let's be real. He's been doing that. His Easter message today was great. Another twist of the screw. Sleepy Joe. But that's where we're at. They don't understand he's that guy. But I hope after Trump's term, we get someone in there that continues it doesn't have to be exactly like Trump, but it's got to be someone that just keeps these liberal Democrats in check. Because I don't want it to be just a speed bump. I want them to be so backed off of their intent to destroy this country. It's all they've been doing. Everything we look at. And then they lie. What about the price of eggs? First of all, we never really cared about the price of eggs. I don't think anyway. I think most people that voted for Trump are like, if eggs go down, that's great. But if we could say, look how expensive the eggs are to get Trump elected, then we'll play off the egg price. But the price of eggs have come down. The price of fuel has come down, energy. But they will just lie to you and tell you it hasn't. And they got a better way to do things. And they don't, quite frankly. And I just hope this term of Trump and the next term of somebody that is also, a Republican, I guess, conservative, someone just with some common sense is elected and keeps these morons we see in the streets every weekend yelling with their nose rings and the purple hair. And I hope, people. We'll be right back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit Shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It certainly is. Yes, the Anthony Cumia Show on a great Easter Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. So another thing that happened, but it was right after last week's show. So, I do a show every Sunday. So sometimes stuff happens Monday or Tuesday, and it might be old news. So I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to kind of try to take a different tack on it. But the Jeff Bezos rocket thing with the women, we've been through it. Believe me, seen all the memes, seen all the funny little comments on social media. But I want to get into something just a little different about it. Of course, Bezos, he's got Blue Origin. It needed the money. Blue. And he sent up a bunch of women. Some women, his fiance, I guess, Katy Perry, Gayle King, and then some other girls that no one really knew. It was like, when they do an ensemble cast on TV and the players, but then there's background, like in Welcome Back, Kotter or Happy Days. You'd go to the diner and there's Fonzie and Malf and Richie, and then there's people in the background. So they had a couple of people in the background. So they launched them in Texas, I guess it was, and they went into, space. And I use the term loosely because I guess there's this, who decided where space starts? I really haven't been able to figure that one out. When the guys go to the space station, we got a big space station orbiting the Earth. When they go there on one of the Elon Musk SpaceX rockets, that seems like space to me. It's a space station. It's been in orbit for quite some time. It's not coming right back down in 11 minutes. So that to me is space. What these girls did was a carnival ride. And I had said this before. I think Jeff Bezos and this Blue Origin project is dangerous. It's a carnival ride. He puts celebrities of some note into this thing and then blasts them off past a certain altitude. And then they're called astronauts. Yes. Katy Perry is an astronaut. Oof. And I just think it's dangerous. There's no science behind it. There's no real gain of knowledge behind it. You're just shooting a bunch of girls up as high as this rocket can go, and then they come back down. So it's ridiculous, and the whole thing was silly, and we all laughed, and Gayle King got mad, and Katy Perry said stupid things because she's Katy Perry, for God's sake. What did you expect? This is one small step for man. No. We're getting the love. The love that I wish we all could love and feel love. So it was stupid. But some people seem to believe the whole thing was faked and that they never went up. The rocket never went anywhere. And I don't believe that. And I've been criticized by a lot of people over the course of the years because I believe that we went to the moon. I believe that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot on the moon in July of 1969. And the subsequent Apollo missions, aside from 13, set foot on the moon. And I've been called an idiot, a dope, a boomer. That's a good one. Hey, boomer. Like, the truth be told, there's nothing that really disproves that we've been to the moon. There's a lot that proves we have been. But, they'll get into that. If you want to, and that's why I had the phones cleared. If you want to call and try to convince me that we have not been to the moon or that the earth is flat, that's another one. I'll waste a few minutes doing that. But, we have to, we'll get a few calls on the line and be able to do that because I think it's crazy. I think it's insane that people actually think we didn't go to the moon and the earth is flat. So call now, 800-848-9222, and we'll be right back with your calls.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yep, we start our third hour of the Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome. I was just talking about, of course, the Jeff Bezos spaceship that took a bunch of girls up into space, technically. I think about this all the time. Like, I grew up loving the space program, NASA, the Apollo missions. All right, you might think I'm real old, and you might be right, but I don't really remember the Mercury program. The Gemini program, I kind of have some recollection as a little kid in between getting smacked in the head by my dad. But the Apollo program I was all about that. I remember every single mission and especially the moon missions. And I absolutely believe, and I think it's insane to not believe, that we went to the moon. America put men on the moon. And I catch crap for it all the time. A lot of people, how would they get through the Van Allen radiation belts? Anthony, you're a fool if you believe it's worse than the thermite paint that was in the World Trade Center. And I know because I'm off the grid in Mexico. Thank you, Jesse Ventura. Thank you for that. But I still, to this day, believe that we did indeed go to the moon. And we're taking some calls. Dave from Jersey wants to talk about space, the final frontier. Dave, what's up, my friend?
Yeah, the flat earther thing, right? If the earth was flat, cats would have knocked everything off the end a long time ago.
See, as a cat owner,
Why do we go into space? It's all because we want to get closer to God. That's all. Since the Tower of Babel.
You think that's it?
Why.
We just want to. We need to get higher and higher to try.
We're trying to get closer. We want to go to the deepest part of the ocean. We want to go to the highest point that we can possibly get, but we cannot get to the third heaven.
Isn't that kind of though? But Dave, isn't that kind of though? Like we have such curiosity as humans, and this sense of or need for exploration. Do you think that's part of it too?
You got to know what it's all about, my man. Ever since they built the Tower of Babel, God said they're going to get there. They're going to get there. So he said, no, I'm not. He confused their language and then scattered them, then divided the earth. And we've been climbing ever since. We got to the top of Mount Everest, right? And we found seashells up there. Wow, what's that? Now we've gone to the moon. Now we're going to Mars. Isaiah said that there was a nation that would mount up to heaven and descend upon the clouds. Clearly the definition of a nation that discovered flight. We've been flying ever since.
But do you think humans with their, this need to explore and go further, do you think it's possible that we could go to Mars? And how does that jibe with the fact that we were put here on this planet by God? How does that figure?
Why were we put here?
Well, why if we go to Mars, doesn't that kind of contradict the fact that we were put here on this planet to live out our lives here?
We're just looking for our Creator, just like in the Star Wars movie. Remember when man melted with machine? Finally, V'ger came back looking for
Star Trek. Okay, Star Trek. V'ger.
Kind of a juxtaposition there in a way.
Yeah, we're not breaking any new ground here. I mean, this has been something that people have toiled with for many years. But I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you, man. I appreciate the call. Very cool. See? Here's this guy, Craig. I don't know if he's telling the truth, if he thinks the earth is flat, but I'm willing. Craig, Atlanta, Georgia. What's up, my friend?
Yeah, the earth is flat. Yeah. Just like Sue Lightning was before you got a hold of him.
Oh, he got me. I don't know what he's talking about. CJ from the great state just north of me, North Carolina. What's up, CJ?
Hey, yeah. I just got to say, Anthony, I'm a huge fan. I downloaded the app for this show. I haven't missed an episode. Jimmy was amazing last week.
Wasn't he?
Getting Nick on board. Getting Nick was a great idea. We got to hear more from you guys. Perfect voice to have on now.
I'm going to get all those stupid comics from the O&A show, believe me.
We'll be here for it. This is what we've been waiting for, all of us. But I got to say, with this space thing, all anyone has to do to see the ridiculousness of this is look up in YouTube the interviews before and after she went. Before they interviewed her, they asked, "Hey, what have you prepared for? What are you looking forward to?" And I am not kidding you. She says, "Well, we're all made from stars, and I can't wait to see them twinkle from up there." I'm not even kidding. Then when she gets back, they ask, "Hey, what was it like up there?" And she says, "It was really high up there, and I couldn't wait to get back to announce my world tour."
My world tour. Who would have thought years ago when we watched that Apollo program and everything that it would just be some publicity stunt for some pop singer to announce her tour? It's hilarious, but it's sort of disheartening in a way. It kind of discounts the whole space program and the sacrifices that were made by actual astronauts and technicians and whatnot.
At least their outfits look good. And hey, just real quick before I go, Anthony, great to talk to you. I got to say, going back to the medical marijuana thing, that's one demographic. It's one thing that makes those big cities at least tolerable.
You think?
So that's one group of people to leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Right, leave it alone. All right, leave it alone.
I'll let you go, buddy.
I get you.
Anthony.
Thank you, CJ. Thanks, man. You can't even walk around, though, a city without smelling weed everywhere. And that kind of used to be a thing. It's so weird because when you occasionally, very rarely smelt weed, it was cool. Like, I think I smell some weed. Someone might be smoking. When it's constant and just pungent, it's like gasoline. Got to be honest. If I'm pumping gas and you get a little whiff of gasoline, there are some people that hate it, but I think most people, they don't mind a little whiff of gasoline. But if it's all you're smelling in like insane quantities, it's going to suck. And I think pot's the same thing. And with the legalization of weed, it's just too much now. It's just too much. Cannot take it. Let's see. What do we got? Cassius, Brooklyn, New York. How you doing, Cassius?
Hey, good evening. Happy Easter.
Good evening.
Anthony.
How are you, man?
Good. The most disturbing thing to me about Katy Perry and the ladies going up, it was that, like, what happened to Katy's giant breasts? Like, she used to have these huge, beautiful gazonga breasts, and the outfit they're wearing, like, all of a sudden, like, she's become very small-breasted. It's very disturbing. That was the most.
I think, I heard tell Buzz Aldrin had very big breasts, and in the spacesuit, it just kind of tucks them in. So maybe it was working off the same principle of
that.
No, those things were so tight.
Spacesuit shrinkage.
Space shrinkage. Those suits were so tight on those girls. If you look at some of the women that had already gone up on the Blue Origin ship, it wasn't anything like that. They were loose fitting. They were comfortable. They knew they wanted to make these sexy outfits for the gals. And it's a travesty. Yeah. It's a joke. And I think it backfired tremendously. I think Bezos was trying to do a publicity stunt. And that's where the difference is between Bezos and SpaceX. SpaceX is doing genuine science. They're doing good for the world. They're putting Starlink satellites up to get internet where you would never think there would be high-speed internet on anywhere on the globe. And then this idiot is sending a pop singer up to what? Get her tour publicity.
Promote the tour. Show the set list.
It was a joke, and I think it backfired because everyone saw it as that. But it's kind of funny that we live in a time where going technically into space, we look at it and go, yeah, what a joke, what a publicity stunt. Like years ago, it would have been like, oh my God, that's amazing. And now we just go, meh, what else?
Right. And I feel really bad for the other ladies who, like, nobody paid any attention to when they came back. They didn't give any speeches that anyone remembers. Totally ignored.
Even when you're trying to push this female empowerment thing, there's even a hierarchy with that, and the pop star will always get the notoriety. So funny, man. Thank you, Cassius.
The Asian gets ignored.
Yeah, and she probably knew exactly how a rocket works, how Newton's laws actually bring that vessel up into space. I don't think Katie knew that, but I love it. Thanks, Cassius. Appreciate the call, man. Oh my God. A couple of more things going on. There's a lot that went on this week. One of these things was this is really quick. I'll just throw this out there. Patton Oswalt, he decided that he is not going to host the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I don't know. I think a lot of people are disappointed that he was chosen, and he decided, if they asked him. Okay. What a pompous idiot this Patton Oswalt is. Imagine putting out a statement that you are not going to accept a gig that has not been offered to you. Personally, I'm not going to play quarterback for the Jets. Next season, I will not accept being the QB for the Jets. I'd probably do better than anyone they do pick or have picked. But what kind of how do you put a statement out like that in all seriousness? And I think he was serious. I don't think this was him being a comic about the whole thing. But that is pretty goddamn funny. One of my favorite stories of the week, because I don't think a lot of people really got what this was about. Dr. Oz was, get my little notes here. Dr. Oz went to the White House because he was accepting, what did he get? A swearing-in ceremony for Dr. Oz. Trump is giving some like weird people these things like, you're going to be the Department of Healthy Chocolate Milk Inspectors. It's just an odd thing Trump's got going there. Anyway, Dr. Oz was there to get sworn in for something. And he brought his granddaughter. His whole family was there, and his granddaughter was there. And let's see, his granddaughter's doing fine after her medical scare at the White House, says her mom. She says President Trump did a great job keeping her kids calm. Daphne Oz took to Instagram Sunday morning to share an update on her daughter Philo. Daphne, Philo, enough with these names. What happened to Barbara, Lisa, and I don't know, Betty? Philo, who collapsed in the Oval Office as Dr. Oz's swearing-in ceremony. Daphne shared a series of photos from the day showing her family dressed in their finest clothes outside the White House, as well as a snap where her kids are meeting President Trump. That's a big moment right there. In the caption, Daphne described her daughter's health, thanking everyone who checked in on her after a medical incident. She fainted during the ceremony where Oz was officially sworn in as the administrator of the Centers of Medical and Medicaid Services. Oh, Trump. I think by the end of Trump's term, I will have some type of position in Trump's cabinet, or, you know, like kind of like Elon or Dr. Oz. Anthony Cumia, you're fantastic. The head of communication for Amplitude Modulation Radio, Just AM. So she thanked everyone. She fainted. This kid's like, how old is she? 9 or something? She's a little kid. It's terrible. Daphne said Philo fainted. Nothing serious. She got to enjoy some great food in the Navy mess hall. All right. Scramble. She shouted out the excellent White House medical as well as the POTUS himself for going out of his way to make both our children feel comfortable in a stressed situation. He was warm and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, here's the part that I love. It's my favorite part of this story, by the way, that hasn't really been talked about. The kid fainted while Donald Trump was talking about the horrific crimes that were committed by illegals. So he's in the Oval Office, right? And the little Philo is standing there with her mom and Dr. Oz. And of course, Trump just can't go, Dr. Oz, you're going to be head of the amazing medical ingrown toenail sector of the medicine. But he can't just do that. He's got to go, well, this terrible, horrible, violent criminal down in El Salvador, you know how these illegals are. And then he starts going. They grabbed a girl, they pinned her down, and he just starts some of the most graphic, horrific images in this poor child's head. She was horrified. She was terrified. A girl, much like little Philo, over there, same age. Imagine if a big illegal alien came up to you, a booga booga, and just started grabbing you. The poor kid fainted at the prospect of these terrible, terrible things happening. Come on, Donald. There's children in the Oval Office a lot of the times these days. I just thought that was a pure Trump, by the way. He don't know. I think the parents, it's the parents' responsibility to not take your kids into the Oval Office like that, because Trump might say anything. He might say anything. We're going to cut a 9-year-old girl's toes off, mix them up, and ship them out to. You're like, why you the kids terrified there. But that's Donald. And the parents, the parents got to know. The parents have to know not to bring their kids in there. Sandra from New Jersey, I hope it's authentic. She believes the world is indeed flat. Sandra, darling.
Well, first let me say I'm a long-time loyal caller. So you should know that.
I know. I've heard of you before. You call WABC Radio in New York many times.
That's correct, and I do. So I was listening to your conversation when I got home from the lovely evening tonight for the holiday. You spoke about the world being flat versus the world being round. So what I picture, going back way then, millions of people, no matter what Trump does right, they're never going to say it. And then there's the ones who think Trump is right. So that's probably the energy, fighting the world is round versus fighting the world is square. Just like now with Trump, you'll never change their minds no matter what he does.
That's true.
Probably, right?
Now, you don't believe the world's flat, though, Sandra, do you?
No, I think it's round like the moon, like all the other things. But you know what else I wanted to say, Anthony?
Yes.
Skiing is something that I did in my life. Did I like it? Not that much. But one thing, out of all my skiing outfits, the one that I saved to this day is a very sexy black, very tight suit with the little fur on the hood. Everybody wants to look good, no matter what. That's just my opinion.
Sandra, was that the style in the 50s? Was that?
No, this is not in the 50s. No, it doesn't matter. You want to look good all your life, every age, everybody wants to look their best.
But I think if an outfit has to be utilitarian. If you're not wearing a sexy outfit, if it has to be like a space outfit, if you were really an astronaut going to space, I believe that if you're able to have a sexy space outfit, you're not really an astronaut. Then you're not really doing that astronauting.
I hear what you're saying. I understand.
I hear you too, Sandra. I'm glad you called. Thank you, dear. There goes Sandra. This is good. Joaquin from Pennsylvania. Joaquin, what part of Pennsylvania are you from?
I live in the Jim Thorpe area, up in the Poconos.
Oh, the guy that ran, right? He was a runner.
No, actually, he was a multifaceted athlete. As a matter of fact, I believe it was from Germany, not, of course, Adolf Hitler, prior to that. Anyway, he said that perhaps, sir, you are the greatest athlete of all times. He excelled in football. He excelled in every single sport.
Did he lose a leg?
No.
All right.
You know what?
I'm thinking of someone else.
I don't know. Maybe later on in life, possibly.
I think it might have been later. But so he was just an all-around great athlete like myself.
Yeah, probably one of the greatest in the world at the time. He was actually of Native American heritage.
Oh.
And he happens to be buried here in Jim Thorpe. That's why they changed Mach Chunk to Jim Thorpe.
It was Mach Chunk?
Yes.
A lot easier,
As a matter
Jim Thorpe.
Fact, yes, well, they had the old jail here that was on the Mysteries many years ago, where that one guy from the Molly Maguire trial thing was hung there, and he put his fingerprint against the wall, and the fingerprint, they could never remove it.
Oh, my God,
They filmed the original Molly Maguire movie with Sean Connery right here in Jim Thorpe.
Oh, well, you got a little claim to fame there in Jim Thorpe. A couple of claims to fame.
Yes.
Anywho.
I'm actually an ex-Long Islander.
Oh,
so
when'd you move? Back in the what?
Oh, just when Hillary moved in and just before 9/11, 2001.
Yep. When Hillary became a senator in New York State, boy, that was a good cue for everybody to leave.
Yes, it was. So
right,
anyway, I had a thought. I had a thought about Donald J. Trump terms 3 and 4.
Yep.
I think it's
How
very
does this
doable.
work? How does this work?
Donald Trump Jr. Donald J. Trump Jr.
Okay, that is legal, but I mean, they seem to be talking like Donald Trump Sr., Donald J. Trump, can run for a third term. They're trying to figure out a way. But if you're saying it's Don Jr., then, haha, like a gag, like they tricked you, kind of a thing. Okay.
Their heads would explode. And here's the thing. I have a number of things I like to call apocalyptic Trojan horses sent by leftist, communist, Marxist, globalist agenda to destroy the United States of America and Judeo-Christian Western civilization. That's exactly what's going on here. And I like the way that you talk about the communists and you talk about the World Economic Forum.
Yeah,
and all this talk recently about Powell, the Fed, I actually think that the Fed was actually created to help drive the country off the cliff into the Great Depression. And if you think about it, it's set there by the globalist agenda, so you can't remove them, so that you can't take them away when this whole thing of raising interest rates, is going to put the screws into the economy. I mean, you think about with COVID and everything, the printing of money. And so now, of course, gasoline prices were through the roof because of Biden's policies, and then they want to raise interest rates. And when they talk about taking money back out of the economy, who are they taking it away from?
Yeah.
The average everyday person.
Yeah, us. Of course. That's kind of the way it's always been. The thing about the Fed, I have tried so many times to watch some kind of documentary about the Fed and how detrimental it is. I can't find a lot of material on that. Whenever I look, I find what is the Fed, how did when was it conceived and implemented, but they really seem to wipe out anything bad about the Fed.
It's with a lot of things, and more that you try and look up online these days.
They're just getting rid of it because it doesn't seem that good. It doesn't seem like a good thing. I don't know. And when you wonder what's going to happen when Donald Trump leaves office, in 28.
Right. This is very scary if you really think about it, because I'm going to put it this way, and this might make some people's heads explode. Donald Trump and even Elon Musk, these guys are really a lot like the founding fathers if you really think about it, because they put their fortunes and they put their lives on the line. And you look at what's been done to Donald Trump and what's been done to Elon Musk. I mean, they're going out of their way to destroy these two men.
No one in American politics outside of the founding fathers have been so threatened and villainized ever.
Now, I actually was banned from some radio stations in the past, conservative radio stations. Because
you're taking pictures in Times Square? Is that what happened?
No, it wasn't. It was a big name.
Joke.
I actually I go by my middle name now because my first name, I was always back when the Russia collusion thing was going on. I was calling and I was trying to explain how, there was a establishment, deep state establishment agenda that was actually trying to stop Donald Trump.
Right.
Because once he got elected and we had control of the House, we had control of Congress, somehow some astute chess player planned 10 moves ahead and put Jeff Sessions in there so that he can recuse himself on the very first day that he's sworn into office.
Yep.
And there were a lot of people who didn't like that. And there was another radio show that he was first coming on the air, took over for another one, and I got on his show almost every night. And the producer, she enjoyed talking to me, and she liked the things that I was saying. And then one night, a voice came on while I was on hold and said, the boss doesn't like what you're saying. And I said, I thought folks enjoyed answering with me. And he goes, no, you don't understand. He has bosses, and they don't like what you say. So when Jesse Kelly came along,
more importantly, did you hook up with the call screener?
No, I did not.
Oh, right.
I'm happily married for 43 years.
Oh, God bless. God bless. Joaquin, I'm going to catch so much hell for continuing to talk to you too long, but I appreciate your call. Thank you. You know how people get. Anthony, that guy Joaquin, why'd you leave him on the phone so long? He started talking about trying to get a piece from the... Yeah, no, I get it. Oh, my God. You people in New York. Cuomo. That's who's going to be running for the mayor of New York. The mayoral election. Now, you voted in Adams, and this guy was a complete waste of time. Complete waste of time. He got in there. He gets an administration that is so corrupt. And New York fell into more of a spiral of decay from de Blasio. Remember who he took over for? De Blasio. This guy was the worst. I think you could put him as the worst mayor of New York ever. De Blasio. Adams is bad, but at least they were able to catch him doing something bad. And he got indicted, or he was ready to get indicted. And the DOJ under Trump after the election dropped the charges, thus taking over the mayorship of New York City. Now they could do whatever they want. Adams will do whatever the Trump administration says. He's a puppet now. But his time is limited here, and it looks like Cuomo might just get this, which is terrible. I mean, really, we saw how he was as the governor, and that was not good. More of these midnight signings of legislation to take away your Second Amendment rights, the SAFE Act, all that nonsense. So who are you voting for, people? Who are you going to vote for? Really? Is it going to be Cuomo? You're going to do it, aren't you? You're not going to want a Republican in there to maybe just shake it up a little bit, New York. Come on. Roll the dice, New York City. What are you doing? We'll be right back in a minute or so. Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Talking about the mayoral race in New York City, Andrew Cuomo, he's the big money guy. He's the guy, got the cash, got the name, got the nipple rings, got the women, even after all the sexual harassment charges, allegations. And then during COVID, remember when he came out and he had a big, a whole wall behind him, and it was covered with masks. And apparently people and children had made masks and sent them to the governor's office and said, please, we know that there's a mask shortage. Could you use these? Children made them in school, and they stapled them to a big wall behind Cuomo. He's like, these are the masks kids made, and they're amazing, and we're so happy that. And it's like, no, I think they wanted people to use them, which would have been stupid anyway, just as worthless as stapling them to a wall. We all understood that. Well, not all of us, but most of us understood the mask thing was just such utter nonsense. But Cuomo, he made it through that without going to jail for some reason. The COVID thing, the dead old people, the sexual harassment allegations. And now he's running for mayor. Now, look at a guy like Curtis Lewa. He's a decent guy. He's a good guy. He likes cats. I love cats. He's a Republican. He's not one of these liberal that just have destroyed the state and the city for so long. Why wouldn't you give him a try? Just pull the lever in the voting booth. Go, I don't know. Let me give him a try. Look back at everyone else over the past few elections. Have they made the city a better place? No. Then maybe change something. Switch it up a little. But no, they'll put Cuomo in there. I hope they don't. And I love Curtis, and I hope some weirdness happens and he gets in. But, you got a name, you're going to get elected. That's just how it works. It's a shame. So New York taxpayers, by the way, that's me during that time when I was up there, and it's you if you're listening in New York, are on the hook for $450,000. Now, what is this for? Road work? That'd be nice. Fix some potholes. Maybe a bridge that was rotting away underneath, and before it collapsed, they fixed it. Your $450,000 went to a settlement. So Mario, look at me. I'm thinking of his dad, Andrew Cuomo, could slide from a sexual harassment charge. So he had this sexual harassment accuser with the state months ahead of the mayoral primary. This is happening now. So a former state employee who accused Andrew Cuomo of sexual harassment, clinched just about $550,000 settlement, with taxpayers set to foot the massive bill as the former governor makes a comeback bid for New York City mayor. How does anyone vote for this guy? Your money. You just paid money to settle a sexual harassment suit against Andrew Cuomo. And you're going to just go, yeah, okay. He could screw around and sexually harass a woman. And believe me, this isn't the only accusation. And you're just going to vote for him? This should be, well, we're done. I guess he loses, right? That's it. But no. Charlotte Bennett, who served as an assistant to Cuomo when he was governor, officially ended a long-running lawsuit Friday against the Empire State. She is slated to receive $100,000 personally, with another $350,000 earmarked for her lawyers and legal costs. By the way, that's a whole nother thing. And oh my God, these lawyers, man, if there was ever a villain that everyone hates, it's lawyers. You get $450,000 in a settlement, and I don't even care, whatever it's for. And the lawyers get $350,000 and you get $100,000? That's brutal. That is brutal. The scandal-plagued Cuomo's various bids to clear his name have been costly for New Yorkers, for us, for you guys. I left, but I had to foot some of the bill. As of March, taxpayers had shelled out nearly $60 million in legal costs to defend against various scandals that embroiled the Cuomo administration according to a report by the state comptroller's office. $60 million? Does anyone even have to think in that voting booth to pull that lever for Andrew Cuomo? The taxpayers shelled out $60 million in legal fees. Hey, maybe you could shell out more when he's the mayor. Maybe you could do some other things, and you could take that tax money that might have gone to transit or the police department to make it safer. Anything except cleaning up his disgusting mess. No? All right. Vote for him. Have fun. The tab to defend Cuomo and the state against Barrett's claims ran upward of $9 million. And a total of $14.3 million was approved had she not settled. I hope you're hearing this, people. So the settlement is for $450,000, $350,000 of which goes to the lawyers, $100,000 goes to Ms. Bennett. But the case itself and the money that the state had put away for this particular indiscretion from Mr. Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, was $14.3 million. Oh, my God. Wow. She filed suit against the state in March 23, alleging it failed to act to address her complaint that Cuomo subjected her to degrading sexual harassment on the job and accused her of lying when she came forward with the accusations. As part of the settlement, Bennett, who worked as a top assistant and health policy advisor to Cuomo, agreed not to seek future employment in the state executive chamber. They make all kinds of deals. All they got to do is sign a piece of paper. They get a bunch of money, and Cuomo's running for mayor. Am I mistaken here? Or didn't stuff like this used to end political careers? This was something that I believe years ago, if something happened, you were done. Go be a pundit on TV or open a car dealership. The settlement gives Bennett a lump sum payout, $40,000 for post-traumatic stress disorder. Look, here's another thing. You know your pal Anthony here. I don't buy any of this nonsense. What kind of PTSD is she getting? She probably stood around and he was a little touchy-feely, maybe. And then it's $40,000 post-traumatic, and then stress disorder and narcolepsy, $35,000, and emotional distress. Wow. And by the way, all these numbers are pennies compared to, like, where did the $14.3 million go? And the $9 million, they put away $14.3. Okay. But they used $9 million. This girl got like $40,000 and then $35,000 for something else. All that money, where did that go? I bet those people that got that money are giving it right back to Cuomo for his mayoral run. It's a kickback. Stop. Let's be real here. This is disgusting. And, you know, like I said, people will vote for him. They'll get in there and go, Cuomo, I've heard his name. Wasn't he the governor? Just vote for Curtis. Give it a try. I'm not even saying this because of ABC or anything. I'm like, why wouldn't you try something different? It's the Trump effect. You got Donald Trump. He came in. People were like, well, he doesn't have political experience. He's not this. He's not that. It's different than the criminals that we've had in office. Maybe you could go in a subway and not be smashed over the head with a brick if someone else is running the show. Maybe. I don't know. Ugh. Unbelievable. Larry from the Isle of Staten. What is up, my friend? You want to talk about the great Andrew Cuomo? Larry, what's up?
Hey, Big Anthony. Happy Easter to you, your family, and all of us.
Thank you, my friend.
Let's just say one thing. Let's start off with, you stole my thunder regarding Curtis Lewa. The man's a champion. Let's retrospect back when David Dinkins was the mayor. And at that time,
hold on, Larry. You talk about post-traumatic stress. You bringing up David Dinkins as mayor brought back. I just got like Ajita. I got Ajita. David Dinkins, the washroom attendant mayor. Oh, anyway, yes.
Now, my point being is, we severely needed a time of change, and that change was Rudolph W. Giuliani.
Well, of course.
So you talk about it's time for a change. Yes, it is. This guy here is a monster. All these people who lost their lives in nursing homes, and then calling the ICE a bunch of thugs. What are these people in New York City thinking?
They'll vote him in. I hate it. I want Curtis. I want him to win. And they will vote for Cuomo. I know it. I hate that I know it. But this is what they do. They're like masochists, Larry. They just want to go into that voting booth, pull the handle, and be crapped on for another term by one of the worst people that could possibly run the city.
But listen, Big Ed, we got to see. There's a massive change in the city. We need a change right now. And Curtis Lewa is that man.
I think
if we can raise everybody, raise your money. Give them $1, $5, 50 cents.
I hear you.
Send that money in and
just support him. Word of mouth, whatever. Tell people, like, what are you voting for? The same garbage that gets your head smashed with a lead pipe or pushed in front of a subway train? Is that the administration we want in there as mayor to continue? We want people to be murdered and assaulted on the streets and criminals being released back out onto the streets? No, we don't. But they'll do it. I hate to say it, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Thank you for the phone call. It's just it's terrible. Lefty in Bayonne. Lefty. You can tell it's the New York, New Jersey segment of the program. Lefty, what's up, my friend?
Anthony, longtime O&A listener, first-time caller.
Whack, whack.
The station you're on, I love it. I listen to it all day, every day, for years.
Very
Since
happy
you guys
to
were
hear
off
that,
the air.
Larry. Lefty.
Well, this station, every DJ stigmatizes medical cannabis. I'm a medical patient here in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Give me the lowdown, brah.
Every DJ on the station stigmatizes the smell of it. Now, how do you know that you're not smelling a disabled vet smoking cannabis for PTSD or a cancer patient or someone with MS? You got a lot of sick people in there in New York. And here in New York, at least you can grow your own weed. Here in New Jersey, we got the Senate President, the Democratic Senate President Scutari, who's blocking homegrown hearings. We can't even have hearings.
Can I tell you? All right. First, let me answer your first question. How I don't know that it's a vet or someone with a medical problem stuff. I don't think anyone's ever seen me take my Lipitor or any of my other medications that I need to take at my age for blood pressure or cholesterol. I don't walk down the street and just pop them in my mouth and take a swig. I do that at home to remedy my medical issues that I have. I just can't take a medicine seriously if you smoke it while you're walking around with families and children as they're looking at the Empire State Building or the M&M store in Times Square.
Well, where are they supposed to go to smoke it? Because it's
home. Do it at home, for God's sake. And by the way, do you just have to smoke all the time, 24 hours a day? A joint has to be in your mouth. It's like, and how about gummies? I've heard gummies are very good, and you could get those at dispensaries where you could get pot. So, like, how about that? You pop a gummy and then you leave your house. It just seems like a lot of people are smoking a lot of pot on the streets, and they don't seem to be people doing it for medical issues. I'm not a doctor. I play one on the radio, but I just don't think they're doing it for medical reasons.
Anthony, you're going to love this. We're having a pot party on Tuesday at an old sex shop in Avenel. If you know the old sex shop, and I tell you, we cleaned it out. There's stuff going on in there that I can't even believe I'm finding. Things I don't even know what they are.
It's probably herpes or AIDS.
I'm going in there with a black light. I'm going to make a video with a black light just to show what happened in there over the years.
Yeah. Light up like Venus.
Tuesday, Earth Day in Avenel at the old sex shop. Come on down.
Well, you have fun, Lefty. I appreciate the call. Thank you, my friend. He goes, Lefty. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be like, Lefty, you're an ass. But the people walking around reeking out Manhattan are not, I don't think they're medical. It's not like, well, my prescription. Let me go to the store and get my prescription. And now, take as directed by physician twice daily. All right, let me light up my... That's not what's happening. And New York City, I don't know if a lot of people know this, it's a tourism city. It's you walk around, there are children and parents. God knows why they take them there. They got to be a little titched in the head. I know, I see like Germans all the time. Germany, people seem to I want to go to the Times Square. And you're like, what are you out of your mind? Don't take your kids there. But they do. And you just see these people, drug addicts. Pot, by the way, is the least of the worries. You see them, they're shooting up constantly. Shooting heroin right there on the sidewalk as little tots are walking by trying to see, the I can't even think of a good New York landscape. I suck. I was like, Bubba Gump shrimp. It's like, Mama, where is the Bubba Gump shrimp? And they go, oh no, someone is shooting the heroin. I don't even know what country my accent is supposed to be from. But, what are you doing? Don't take your kids. And I'm sorry, Lefty, this isn't a medical thing. That isn't the weed we're smelling. That's not the weed we're smelling. It's from some medical problem. Oh, my God. Jay, another New Jerseyan, Jay from the amazing city of Newark, New Jersey. Jay, how you doing tonight?
What's going on, buddy?
Hanging.
First of all, you're hanging in there. Chris Baldessano, listen to his message. You blocked me on Twitter. You got to unblock me, bud. But here, listen about the weed here. The whole situation with the weed.
Yeah.
Go into a Chinese restaurant. Want to enjoy your meal.
Yeah.
You take your 8-year-old son. You and your wife want to have a nice dinner out, right?
Sure.
You have a couple come in. You know where they're probably from. And when you see them sit down, they order their meal. As they're waiting for their meal, they go back out to their car, smoke a giant blunt, blow the whole place out with weed. You can't even breathe in this place.
Jeez.
You're just trying to enjoy a meal, and they just want to get stoned just to eat their ramen or whatever they're going to do. You know, so they blow the whole restaurant out just because it's all about them and nobody else.
Yeah,
and it smells like I smoke weed all the time. And guess what? I can go to the store. Guess what? My wife drives all the time because she doesn't like my driving. And we go out to go shopping, and she's the chauffeur, and I'll hit that weed the whole time on a little vape, and nobody smells a thing.
Dude, you do.
And there's no arguments. Everything's great.
All right,
you never
brought
fight
something
with the old
up,
lady, you know.
I'm gonna completely change the subject here.
Sure.
But it involves what you said. I do the same thing. I don't drive unless I have to drive somewhere myself. My girl drives.
That's the way to roll.
And
sure.
But how many times do pulling into a parking space? Do you go like, you like make noises and they go, what? What are you saying? Why are you mad at me?
Dude, the invisible brake pedal is great, right?
It's frightening. I swear to you.
Yeah.
There are times I'm like, I'll see a yellow light and I'll be like, you don't want to go stop because then they yell. So I'll just make a noise.
You don't want to say anything, though, because it's going to create an argument.
Because then all hell breaks loose. Yes, all hell breaks loose.
Yep.
I don't know.
You're never going to hear the end of it.
And by the way, this is only because there isn't a good car out these days. I would buy a good car. I bought the Mustang years ago. I bought the Jaguar years ago.
Super Snake. Yeah, I remember all that. Yeah,
dude, I've been looking around for a car because I don't want my girl driving me around. I want to drive myself, but I don't want to drive 100%.
Like
the driving the GMC around and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, you drive, whatever. And then I find myself with the invisible brake pedal and stuff. But I cannot find a good car. There's nothing now that I see that I go, God, I want that.
Listen. Well, here's the deal. Listen, I was called before all this stuff went down. I was called every name in the book by every liberal ever.
Gay?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. I was taking it all over my face, buddy.
All right.
So, yeah. So all this stuff happened. All of a sudden, what happened now? Because my wife drives a Model Y Tesla.
Oh,
and guess
Tesla.
what?
Yeah,
I don't have to do brakes on it. I don't have to do oil changes.
Yeah,
you got to try one, man.
No. Ain't gonna happen. I want internal combustion, vroom vroom sounding motors. But here's the screwy thing, dude.
That's my cars. The old lady drives the electric. Okay,
if your buddies,
I got to have my gas and my pops and bangs. My turbos.
Jay, when your buddies find out that your girl drives you around, you catch some crap, right?
Actually, I don't because they don't want to drive either.
Well, they're probably gay too, like you. Okay, Jay. Awesome call.
You can hammer it up.
I appreciate it. You're the last call of the evening. Thank you, my friend. I think he might have been a little naughty on the language. I'm not sure. I was trying to drown him out a little bit, but oh my God. All right, here we go. I got to go to my sheets. Yeah, Curtis Lewa. Vote for Curtis, you dummies. What are you doing? Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for supporting me, the Anthony Cumia Show, here on. Oh yeah, I got you. Here's support. I'm answering my ear back. Supporting this show, the stations, the various stations, the app that you use to listen, whatever it is. YouTube, go to YouTube. 77 WABC on YouTube, 77 WABC app. Download it. You can listen to this show. Give it to your friends, and we'll be on good terms. We'll be on good terms because I appreciate everybody that supports us right here. Had a great time, and we'll be back next Sunday. And I'm going to try to get more of these comics from the Opie and Anthony Show. Maybe Opie. Should I get Opie? Yeah. Email, text. Tell me if I should get Opie, Greg Opie Hughes, on this program to do the show. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. The Anthony Cumia Show. Oh, we got a minute left. Sorry. We do, right? Ear? Do we? Yeah, I'm the worst. Oh, I just got a new clock. So what do I know? But, yeah, wouldn't that be interesting? Having Opie on. I had Jimmy on last week. He was great. But in case you didn't know, me and Opie, we don't get along very well anymore. It's a shame. But I think it would be cool. Do you think? Let me know. Because I'd have him on. I have no problem. But I think he might have a problem. But I have no problem. And I think it would be pretty cool to hear me and Opster back on broadcast radio in New York City for the first time. How much of an argument would that be? I think it'd be fun. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.